In Mumbai, dabbawalas are people who deliver hot lunchboxes from homes or restaurants to people at their workplaces. Ela, a housewife and resident of Mumbai city, is getting her daughter ready for school. After sending her off, Ela rushes to the kitchen to check on a new recipe she is trying. She tastes it, but feels the dish is missing something. Her neighbor, Mrs. Deshpande, also known as Auntie from upstairs, has a very sharp sense of smell. She knows exactly what Ela forgot to add and quickly sends down her masala concoction to make the food tastier. Once Ela adds the masala, Auntie says that the dish is perfect and that Ela's husband Rajiv will love it. Soon, the dabbawala arrives to take the lunchbox. Ela quickly packs it for Raj and sends it with the dabbawala. The lunchboxes travel a long way on the local trains. Then they are sorted and given to different dabbawalas who take them to their designated areas. One of these areas is the office where Sajan Fernandez, a widowed accountant, works. He is going to retire in a month. The PN hands out the lunchboxes and puts one on Sajan's desk. Sayan does not pay attention to it until his boss Mr. Shroff arrives and brings Aslam Sheikh with him. Sheikh is the one who will replace Sajan after he retires. Mr. Shroff praises Sheikh and tells Sajan to train him. As soon as Mr. Shroff is gone, Sheikh attempts to chat with him, but Sajan is cold and replies with one-word answers. He keeps working, ignoring Sheikh, who is waiting for some guidance. Sheikh then asks when they will start the training. Sajan tells him it is lunchtime and tells him to come back after 4:45 p.m. Sajan opens the lunchbox and finds out it is not the one he usually gets. He shrugs it off and checks the different dishes in the compartments. He smells each one of them. He has not smelled homemade food in a long time. The time comes for the lunchboxes to go back. The dabbawalas sing along the way as they carry the empty boxes. Ela runs to the door to get the box that was left there. She is surprised to see it empty and tells her neighbor Auntie about it. Ela is hoping to revive her marriage by making new dishes for Raj. She is glad that this plan might be working. Sajan spots Sheikh conversing with a co-worker. He checks the time, and it is 4:47. Sajan quickly gathers his things and sneaks out of the office to avoid training Shaikh. Ela gets ready as Raj is about to reach home from the office. She calls out to her neighbor to turn off the music as Raj is back. She eagerly waits for him to say something about the lunch, but he doesn't. When Ela asks how the lunch was, he says it was good as usual. Ela realizes Raj didn't get the box she sent, but before she can say anything, Raj gets a call and he starts talking to the person on the other end in English, so Ela doesn't understand what he's saying. Sajan goes to the local restaurant that sends him food and compliments the cooking. It is then we see why the mix-up happened. The restaurant uses the same lunch cover as Ela uses, which is why Sajan didn't notice. Sajan is a loner and hardly ever talks to anyone. He is rude to the kids who politely ask for their ball, which landed on his balcony. But Sajan does not give it back, as he thinks the kids should not have been playing near his house anyway. That night, Sajan stands on his balcony and sees his neighbors enjoying dinner with their families. He wishes he had such nights too. He soon gets a taste of his own medicine for not giving back the kids' ball, as one of the girls from the group closes the window so Sajan cannot spy on them while they are having dinner. The next day, Sheikh welcomes Sajan with a lot of enthusiasm and tells him he was at his seat at the agreed time, but Sajan had left. Sajan says that Sheikh was late. Sajan acts like he does not care about Sheikh, who is eager to start the training. Sajan casually tells him to come after lunch. Sajan is curious to see what they have sent him for lunch today. He is fine with eating alone, as the delicious food makes him feel good. But today, he finds a note with the food. He looks around, wondering if someone from the office has written the note. He reads the note, in which Ela thanks him for finishing the food and tells him that she had cooked it for her husband. She also writes that she is grateful to him by sending her husband's favorite dish in the tiffin. She signs her name at the bottom. Ela is afraid the letter might reach Raj, but Auntie says that Raj should be blamed because he did not even notice the difference in the flavor yesterday. Sajan feels guilty for eating someone else's food. Today, he is not sure what to do, so he chooses to eat it anyway and sends a reply back with the box. Ela reads the reply, which says, "The food was very salty today." Ela tells Auntie and Auntie gets angry at the sender's rudeness. She sends down chilies and tells Ela to use them next time. Ela is not sure she wants to keep doing this. She says she will talk to the dabbawala but Auntie stops her. Shaikh sees Sajan among the inventory racks. He tries to talk to Sajan again, but gets no answer. He even praises the smell his lunchbox gives off and says his wife is a great cook. Sajan says his wife is dead and walks away, leaving Shaikh confused. Sajan is so excited about his lunch now that he opens the lunch cover just to smell it and guess what it could be that day. Sajan is the first one to finish his work and go to have his lunch. He looks for the note, but today, Ila has not sent a note. Instead, she has made the food very spicy to show her displeasure at him being ungrateful. Ila is shocked when the lunchbox comes back empty again, and Sajan writes that the salt was okay, but the spice was too much for him to bear. He ate 2 bananas after lunch to soothe his stomach. Ila stays up at night, thinking about the man who eats the food she makes. The next day, in the note, Ila shares that her husband came back late from the office and didn't speak to her. She talks about Auntie from upstairs with whom she cooks food. She tells him that Auntie's husband had been in a coma for the past 15 years, but one day he got out of the coma and started fixing the fan. After reading Ila's letter, Sajan feels comfortable telling his story. He tells her how his wife died and even suggests to her that having another child sometimes helps in reviving a marriage. That night, Sajan goes to his wife's grave after a long time. It has not been taken care of for long. Following Sajan's advice, Ila tries to be intimate with Raj, but Raj rejects her advances. One morning, the traffic on Mumbai roads stops everything. Sajan is waiting in his auto for the traffic to move. The auto driver tells him that a woman with her daughter jumped off a building nearby, which caused the traffic. Sajan gets out, nervous hearing the news. That day, he stays worried because it is already 1 and the lunchbox has not arrived. He was scared because he thought of Ila and her daughter when he heard the news. He can't concentrate on his work and looks hopefully at the PN giving out the lunchboxes. He feels relieved when the PN hands him the lunchbox and he smells the familiar aroma of a home-cooked meal. He has just started reading Ila's note when Shaikh interrupts. Sajan again tries to get rid of him, but Shaikh is persistent. Shaikh shares that he is an orphan. He learned everything by himself, including accounting, and his name was also picked by him. He also says that Sajan does not need to worry because he will learn the office work by himself too. He starts to go. Sajan feels he should not be so harsh on Shaikh and calls him back. He gives him work, which makes Shaikh very happy. He goes back to reading Ila's letter. She mentions the news and imagines herself in place of the woman who jumped off the building. In his note, Sajan asks her not to think like that. Sometimes things are not what they look like. He shares an incident where he was traveling in a crowded bus. He felt someone touching him inappropriately. An older woman who was standing next to him looked at him continuously, which made him think it was her. Turns out, it was a man in front of him that was holding a folder that was touching him as the bus moved. Ila laughs reading the story. Sajan has started to be friendly with Shaikh, and they even travel back together. Shaikh uses his time well while traveling back home. He cuts vegetables and onions that he carries in his briefcase to save time in cooking. Ila feels happy to have someone to share the bits and pieces of her life. Sajan shares food with Shaikh, who eats bananas for lunch. Shaikh is moved by this gesture and likes the meal, as he is very hungry but does not want to say it. That day, Sajan wrote to Ila, telling her that he found old recordings of TV shows that his wife used to watch. He watched all the shows until the morning. He was missing his wife. In her letter, Ila asks him not to smoke and talks about her father, who has cancer because of excessive smoking. That night, Sajan doesn't touch his packet and tries to control the urge. Ila has bought eggplants because Sajan had mentioned it was his favorite. While washing the clothes, Ila smells perfume on Raj's shirt. She then realizes that Raj is having an affair. He has been distant lately and would go to the office at odd hours. Feeling dejected, she takes her daughter to visit her mother. She wanted to have a mother-daughter heart-to-heart about her failing relationship, but she kept it to herself after learning that her mother had to sell off the TV to buy medicines for her sick father. Sajan smiles when he sees his favorite dish in the lunchbox. He can't resist taking a bite before serving it on the plate. He takes out the note, but looks around to see if Shaikh is nearby. He then reads the note. Ila writes about her husband having an affair. She couldn't bring herself to confront him because she had nowhere to go. but she wishes to go to Bhutan. Her daughter Yasmina was taught in her school about Bhutan, where they have gross national happiness to ensure all its citizens stay happy. Sajan feels bad for Ila and cannot bring himself to finish the lunch. That day, he asks her a question and wishes to come to Bhutan with her. While returning home, Sajan is happy. Shaikh asks the reason, but Sajan jokingly says he's planning to settle in Bhutan. Sheikh supports him and tells him that Bhutan's living cost is very low, so it is worth going there. He further says that his mom used to say sometimes the wrong train can take you to the right station, which describes Sajan and Ila's happy accident. That evening, Sajan tunes the radio to listen to a Bhutanese channel. He enjoys the song that plays. The next day, Ila asks him how they can go to Bhutan together when she doesn't even know his name. That afternoon, Sajan wrote his name for her. Their story, which started with a mix-up and later turned into friendship, is now turning into a liking towards each other. Ila then proposes they meet at 1 o'clock in a popular cafe. As Sajan is deciding what to do, he is called by his boss, Mr. Shroff. Mr. Shroff is angry because of the mess that has been made in the calculations by Sheikh, but Sajan takes the blame for those mistakes. Mr. Shroff knows that Sajan has not committed a single mistake in 35 years of his service, and he is taking the blame for saving Sheikh. He lets them go with a warning. Sajan rectifies the documents after office hours. Sheikh is thankful to him for saving him, and to make up for his mistakes, he invites Sajan to his house for dinner. Sheikh's wife Nisa asks Sajan about his wife. Sajan tells her that his wife passed away, but he has a girlfriend and her name is Ila. Sheikh says that he and Nisa will be getting married soon. He asks Sajan if he would be his best man. He invites Ila too. Sajan feels honored and says they'll come to his wedding. Sheikh tells him that his dad is giving him a scooter as a gift for his promotion. Sajan shares that he is not taking early retirement and he'll get Sheikh an assistant post. Sheikh is genuinely happy for Sajan and asks him not to tell his father-in-law, otherwise he won't get the scooter. The next day, Sajan takes extra time to get ready as he is going to meet Ila. While traveling, a young man gives Sajan his seat, which Sajan initially tries to deny, but then takes. This makes Sajan realize that he is getting old, and he decides to stick to his original plan of early retirement. That afternoon, Ila waits at the cafe for a long time, but Sajan doesn't show up. That night, Ila couldn't sleep, wondering why Sajan didn't show up. The next day, Ila sends an empty lunchbox, letting him know she is angry because he stood her up. Sajan writes to her saying that he deserves the empty lunch. He then tells her that the previous day, he saw himself in the mirror and it hit him that the bathroom smelled exactly like it used to smell after his grandfather took a shower. Only this time, it wasn't his grandfather, but him. He also informs her that he had come to the restaurant and saw her waiting the entire time. She looked beautiful. He reminds her she is young. He wants to thank her for letting him be a part of her life. Later, Shaikh gets married. Sajan is the only person attending from Shaikh's side. Sajan is leaving for Nasik after the wedding. Shaikh admits he isn't feeling good that his mentor and friend is going away. Sajan and Ila are both upset because they couldn't be together. Ila's doing her chores when she gets a call from her mother, informing her that her dad passed away. Ila cries after she hangs up. She rushes to her mother's place and finds her sitting quietly. She hugs her and tries to console her, but her mother tells her that they had many problems in their relationship to the extent that she was disgusted by Ila's father. She was just fulfilling the duties of a wife without any feelings for him. Ila realizes this is her life with Raj. The thought that she won't feel anything if her spouse passes away scares her, so she decides to visit Sajan in his office. She tells the dabbawala that the lunchbox is being sent to the wrong address and then asks for Sajan's office address. She takes her daughter along with her. She meets Shaikh, who tells her that Sajan has left the company and shifted to Nasik. Sajan has boarded the train to Nasik. Ila is shocked and disappointed that Sajan went without telling her anything. She returns to her home. Sajan also returns to his old home. He has changed his mind about moving away. The next day, after sending her daughter off to school, Ila writes to Sajan telling him that she is leaving Raj. She has sold all her jewelry, and with the money she has collected, she is moving to Bhutan with her daughter. She has packed her bags and is waiting for her daughter to return from school. They'll take the train that afternoon. She is still contemplating whether to send the letter to him or not. Coincidentally, the same day, Sajan goes to meet the dabbawala and asks for Ila's address. The film ends with Ila waiting for her daughter to return from school and Sajan heading to her house with the dabbawala who regularly picked up and delivered the eponymous lunchbox. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and subscribe for more videos like this. Goodbye.